nuclear weapons.
Well, the perfect world everybody wants doesn't have any weapons at all, Greg.
Alright, this almost perfect
Don't
world
play with words,
order.
Greg, you don't know them well enough. Just tell us what you've got to say.
Right. If we got rid of the weapons and we were back to using normal weapons, now Russia having a greater power, or any country that managed to get to such a situation, if they decided to invade and start taking over, just as indeed Hitler did in the Second World War, there could be a lot of damage done and a lot of people killed.
Do you not think there could be a lot of damage done by the nuclear weapons that exist?
Yeah, but I think it does act as more of a deterrent.
What has it deterred so far?
Well, what has it deterred? It's, for one, it's deterred, well, possibly it has deterred it in the fact that it hasn't happened. It's
Greg, what has it deterred?
Well, it's deterred in the fact that it hasn't happened.
What hasn't happened? What hasn't happened?
Has not marched through Europe and taken over Europe.
No, they've not marched through Russia and taken over Europe. First of all, we have to establish whether we think that Russia intends or desires to do such a thing. Why would one want to do it? Well, it's forced to ask. Secondly, Russia and America have both been involved in massive conflicts, leaving millions of people dead. More people have died since the war than during the war, as a result of warfare.
Yeah.
So the suggestion that nuclear weapons have kept the peace is, to be perfectly frank, utter cobblers.
Well, okay, I'm saying that then. Let's take the Second World War with the case of Japan. Now, if they hadn't used the nuclear weapon on Japan, I'm sure that the Japanese, going off the type of people they are, that they certainly wouldn't be given up so easily.
Greg, allow me to supply you with a piece of information that is pure fact. At the time of the first and second nuclear weapon, Japan was in the process of suing for peace. Suing for peace. They were actually doing it at the time the bomb was dropped.
Well, how come then it took them so long? I mean, there were one dropped and they saw the absolute disaster that it caused, yet it took them that much time that they dropped another one before they actually decided.
Allow me to tell you, Greg, that I have a very strong belief, this isn't fact, it is my opinion, but I have a very strong opinion that that bomb was dropped because the Americans wanted to test what devastation it could do.
Yeah,
but
so
the Japanese were actually suing for peace. Now, that isn't me making stories, that is historic fact that has only recently been revealed because of the, if you like, moratorium on information after warfare.
Well, what about the second one? Okay, the first one was a test. What about the second one? Why did they drop that? They didn't need
part
to
and
test
parcel.
it again.
Let's face it, they're still testing the damn thing.
Yeah, but not on people anymore.
Well, no, they don't do it on people anymore because they haven't got any little yellow ones that would agree to it.
But if the Japanese were already in the movement of...
Greg, that is a fact. You can put all the ifs you like. That is a fact. I cannot answer the question, why was it dropped?
Where have you got that fact from?
That fact comes from documents released by the American government under the Freedom of Information legislation that exists in America.
And then if nuclear weapons were banned...
Greg, you now have found out where that information came from.
Yeah,
now, would you like to try and think of a reason why the Americans dropped a nuclear weapon on 2 cities in Japan when the Japanese government were at that time suing for peace?
Possibly the Americans didn't know that the Japanese...
It was... Oh, don't talk ridiculous. The Americans didn't know. I have heard some garbage in my...
Well, what reason did they drop the...
I don't know, Greg. I said I have an opinion, but I don't know. I cannot think of a valid reason. I would dearly love to ask the person that made the decision, but sadly, some would say gladly, he's dead.
Perhaps they did it because of how nasty the Japanese were, and it was just...
It all boils down, Greg, to the fact that you cannot say they did it to save lives. They didn't. They could have saved more lives simply by not dropping it and allowing the Japanese to sue for the peace that they were suing for.
Yeah, but if there weren't nuclear weapons, the thing is, countries would try to develop other warfare, such as germ or even chemical warfare.
Well, you seem to be under the impression, Greg, that they have not developed germ and chemical warfare. Have you ever heard of the word napalm?
Napalm bomb, yes.
Do you know what that is?
It's it's like a firebomb, and
it's chemical warfare, Greg.
Like a burning gel.
Greg,
yeah.
It's chemical warfare.
Yeah.
You know when you said they might develop chemical warfare instead?
No, I mean...
We've got that as well.
Develop it further. I mean,
you can't develop it any further, any more quickly than they're doing so already, I assure you.
Yeah, but
germ warfare and chemical warfare already takes place.
Oh yeah, they're developing it, but the point is, it's not developing as fast.
It seems, Greg, you have lost in another avenue and you're clutching at broken straws.
No.
I'm sorry, Greg, you're talking out of your hat.
No.
How do Jonathan?
Hello, Alan. Hello? Alan?
Yes, what do you want?
I'd like to talk about the international exchange of population, if I can.
I'm sure you would.
Particularly emigration. I think it's morally wrong that we educate people in this country, in the universities and polytechnics, and when they get the degree, they go to America to study.
What is morally wrong with that?
Well, we pay the rates, you know, and we teach them everything we know, and they just go over to America just for the money.
Well, surely we teach them because we believe it is right that human beings in our country are educated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Are you suggesting that we should only teach those that we believe will make a commercial return?
Well, what I think America should contribute to the teaching of these people if they're going to take them.
Why? We've got Americans over here doing jobs in Britain.
Oh, but it's not the same extent though, is it?
When you say not the same extent, the National Coal Board is run by a Yank.
Yeah, there's one or two, but the majority
you say
of people...
one or two. There is, surely, Britain has the sense to make, and indeed the obligation, to make a contribution to its people. And because it is a free country, those people can then sell their labours wherever they wish to sell them.
Yeah,
now, what would you like to see change? There's no way America's going to pay towards our universities any more than they already do.
And what do they do at the moment?
Well, the American people sometimes, very rarely the government, but American people, companies that is, sometimes...
It seems to me we're being...
Would you like an answer to your question before you start rattling your gob, idiot?
Go on then.
No, you're not worth
No.
it. Good night. How do, Alan?
How do, Al? I've been to Blackpool today, and I went into some shops to buy some clothes for Wi-Fi, you know. And I had a look at all stitching and everything, and I'm disgusted at how they put together and everything, and the prices they're asking for it. And I don't, whether they're foreign or not, I don't know. Can you put any light on it, like?
Any light on what? Whether they're foreign?
Yeah.
Well, ask the boss.
Ask the boss?
Ask the fella selling them. Say, hey, are these British or foreign?
Yeah, well, what's he going to say to me?
I've no idea. You'll find out when you ask him, won't you?
I suppose
Right,
so.
well, ask him. Oh, gobhead. How do, Neil?
Does anybody know where the toilets are?
Thank you very, Neil. How do, Chris?
Can I tell you a poem?
Have you written it?
Yeah,
Have you?
it's good.
I'm sure it is. Let us hear it.
Right. I was sitting at the bus stop waiting for a train when all of a sudden it started to rain. I popped up my umbrella and out popped a fella and said, "My name's Allan Beswick. Would you like a banana?"
Doesn't rhyme. How do, Daniel? How do, Joan? How do, Sean?
Alan, what did God say when he made his second blackie?
We don't do racist jokes on this programme. How do, Rob, sorry.
Oh, well,
Yep,
Rob here. Can I talk about UFOs, please?
if you must.
Well, if I can, yeah. On December the 27th, 1980 at 3 a.m., a UFO landed in Woodbridge in Suffolk. Now, this is just outside the Air Force base of the American Air Force Base. And 200 people actually saw this aircraft land, the UFO land, and it came 3 successive nights. The alien beings came out from the aircraft, the UFO, and Lieutenant Holt of the Air Commanding Base sent a report to President Reagan saying that his security had been broken on this Air Force base because it actually landed in the base and then...
I've heard the story, Rob. Would you like to tell me what you got to say about it? Because it's
Yeah,
all
well-
bunkum to me.
No, it's not bunk, come on.
I said to me. I know what it is to me. You can make your own mind up. I'm not bothered.
Fair enough. Right, well, what it basically stems down to Star Wars. See, Star Wars is devised between President Reagan and Russians to defend our planet because alien beings might try and invade us.
They're doing it together, are they, Star Wars?
Aye.
Are they?
Yeah.
Funny nobody's told the Russians. I wonder why they keep complaining about it. How do Daz?
Hello, Alan. I've just bet me meat, me last £2.20.
We don't have gambling on here. How do Ian? How do Kevin? No, we've got Ian, have we? What do you want, Ian?
Well, I would like to talk on a more serious note. Can you really fight your wife?
No. How do Kevin?
Hi, now. I'd like to talk about parents' attitude to the older children.
Well, what do you define as older children?
Well, after they've left school.
I see.
Well, I'm 19 and, recently I came home from university and had my hair all spiked up and my mum threw me out of the house.
What a marvellously sensible woman your mother must be. Goodbye. How do Mike?
Wrexham Football Club rule.
How do Carl?
Mine!
How do Ian?
Hello, Alan. There was someone on a few weeks ago saying, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it was the rooster.
Ta-ra. How do Rod?
What do you call a scouser in a semi-detached?
Go on.
A burglar.
No.
And there's more?
No. It's not high enough up, is it, a semi-detached? It's a silly joke. Hello, Sean.
I was walking down this road the other day.
Which road?
This road near us, like.
Which road? You don't know, you're obviously lying. Goodbye. How do Anthony?
Well, I think smoking should be banned in public places.
Such as the top of Mount Everest?
I mean, sorry, indoor public places.
Indoor public places?
Yeah.
Such as?
On buses, in cinema and all.
Cinema's a private place. It's owned by somebody.
Well, it's public, people go in it.
You mean places to which the public have access?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Well, that's what you think.
Yes.
That's all we want to know. How do Peter?
How do Alan? I'd like to talk about proportional representation if I may.
You may.
Okay. Well, I think it's quite proportional and it's representational.
You're absolutely right, sir. Can't imagine why the SDP don't explain it like that. Perhaps they don't know. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Alan. I wonder if you could help me. I've got a slight problem. I had a flat down in Somerset, and I had to push my car all the way onto Wigan because I forgot my spare.
Well, that's what we expect from a pie eater. How do Jonathan?
Hello, Alan. President Reagan thinks that nuclear weapons are deterrents, doesn't he?
Well, he says so.
So why is he investing in Star Wars?
Because he wants a better deterrent.
Yeah, but you must think, he's always been saying that nuclear weapons are a very good deterrent and the best, a perfect deterrent.
No, he's never said they're a perfect deterrent.
He did.
He didn't.
He did.
When?
Well, in the
when?
1979 conference, he said that.
Nah.
Well, here's a funky bass.
How do Chris?
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about bands miming on TV. I think it's pathetic because, like, the audience, like, they're not hearing the true sound that the bands can play, and the bands that have no talent at all, they look good to the ones that have as well. I've got talent.
Well, what does it matter?
Well, you know.
If you don't like the programmes, turn them off.
Yeah, but it's not.
What do you mean, yeah, but?
The audience are being cheated.
Listen, all I can say, Chris, is you should have been miming now, because that way no one would have known you're a prat. How do Darren? Sharon, sorry.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about the danger of tranquilizers, please. I was put on tranquilizers 7 years ago, and I'm only 26 now, and 4 years later I was diagnosed as having multiple sclerosis, and they were telling me, the doctors, that I was all in my mind, and I was too anxious and nervous. And now I'd just like to warn anybody who's listening that, you know, it's just not on to be put on tranquilizers at the age I was on them, at 19, and to be told now I'm addicted to them. I'm trying to get off 2 lots of tranquilizers and an antidepressant drug as well.
Well, Sharon, I'm prepared to accept the statement that it's not right to be put on tranquilizers for a long time. Tranquilizers are like bandages. They're very, very useful. But you shouldn't wear a bandage all the time.
Yeah.
So they're very useful. But unfortunately, some doctors, often because of pressure of work, but sometimes because of idleness, just simply give repeat prescriptions of tranquilizers ad nauseum.
That's what I'm getting now. I just go to the doctor, put a card and they get a repeat prescription.
Yeah, well, Sharon, do you know what? There's one person in the world that can actually stop you taking so many tranquilizers.
That's me.
That's you. What are you going to do about it?
I'm cutting down on them now.
Good.
Yeah, but
That's what we want to see. Keep doing that.
Okay then.
All right, love?
Bye.
Ta-ra. Raymond, you're next after the break.
Blimey, Alan. Quite frankly, Alan. You know what I mean, Alan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Alan. I've just left school and I've got a full-time job. And I work from Monday to Saturdays. And I just wanted to know, is there a limit on the hours of work each week?
Well, yes, I suppose it's limited by the fact that there are only 24 in every day.
Yeah, but I work from about 8 till 5 at night. I'm just over 47 hours a week. And I just want...
Well, Mike, it's very easy. There's a simple answer. There are 3 million people out there would do what you're doing. So if you don't like it, pack it in.
Yeah, but I work that many hours.
Listen, you were so lucky to have a job. Now, I'm not suggesting that employers should be able to rip you off, but they're presumably paying you for these hours.
Yeah, but not
How much do you earn a week, Mark?
£32.74.
32. Well, any day you want to give it up, don't worry. There's a YTS out there that'll give you 20 odd.
I know, I've been...
Mark, you've got a job for crying out loud. Do it. How do Michelle? How do Tony?
Warrington Rugby League are brilliant. The pirates are crap.
How do Andy?
Hello, I'd like to comment on previous call, if I may. A bloke phoned up and said that your show was to be called the early morning show, not the late night show. Isn't that true?
Well, of course it's true.
Thank you. Well, I'd just like to say that it goes on till 2 in the morning, and therefore I presume that it's the early morning show, not the late night show.
Well, half of it is the early morning show, if you wish to be that pedantic.
Well, then why don't you change your jingles?
Why should I? I don't wish to be that pedantic.
Well, I think you'd better do a survey on this to see
I
if
have
you
no
want to.
desire to do a survey. I will still do what I want to do, no matter what the pigging survey says.
Well, you're very,
Arrogant.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
You're such a scream.
But when you're at the top of the ladder, there's no problem crapping on them below. Good night. How do, Kenny?
All right, Alan. No, I was just sitting there on my own, like in the house.
Before we go any further, Kenny, can I make it clear to you that I still cannot fight my ma?
Yeah,
However,
well,
go on.
get a load of this, like, I was sitting here minding my own business in the house, right? And my ma came in from the ale house, and she said to me, "Do you want me out?" I said, "Behave." And then I said, "No, I was just wondering, like, who was this guy before, like, asking it, can you fight your wife?"
I don't know. I think he's
got a
son
bit
of
of a
Kenny.
cheek, hasn't
A
he?
bit of a cheek, Kenny, is
Yeah,
all I can
using
call
my
it.
script, like,
Your
it's not
script,
on, is
as you remarked. I mean, the money you've paid for this script of yours.
No, did you know, like, the other week I got a 72 quid phone bill, by the way. Bad news, isn't it, Alan?
It serves you right, pal.
Any kind of a sub off you, like.
Yes, you can have a sub, one of the nuclear ones. Keep it in your bath.
All right.
Ta-ra.
See ya.
72 quid phone bill, that'll land him. How do Tim?
Hello, Alan. I was going to ask you something, Alan, and I've had a word with a discussion with a friend of mine. Is one of the interpretations of the word democracy freedom of choice?
Not entirely.
Oh, why not? Surely we elect parliaments by freedom of choice and things like that, you know. Surely you have the freedom of choice. Would you not think that the most of the population in this country have the freedom of choice?
They have some freedom of choice, but there are constraints put upon them.
What constraints would they be then, Alan?
Well, could you choose to live at Buckingham Palace?
Well, that's private property. I mean...
But it is, you will agree, a limitation of choice.
How about freedom of choice in religion? I mean, surely you can't go in somebody else's property. Everybody knows that.
You do have a freedom of choice of religion.
Yes, and there's freedom of choice in many other ways. What I was going to come
Yes,
on?
they are, but the freedom of choice is created by the democracy, but is not necessarily the democracy.
Well, when you say going in, I want to live in Buckingham Palace, of course, that's private property. I would be breaking the law. But surely what people want...
Well, let me suggest to you, you couldn't live on the footpath in any given place because you haven't the freedom. You haven't even the freedom to stand on the footpath. You can be told to move on. You can be arrested for causing an obstruction just for standing on the footpath.
Say, for instance, just say, for instance, I wanted to marry a coloured girl.
Yes.
I am white myself, and I don't use the word...
It's all right, don't worry. I understand the situation.
Well, I don't use the word black anyway. I don't use that. I like to use it... I don't even like to use the word coloured anyway, because I'm not a racist.
Well, should we just go to the point instead of mulling about with the semantics?
Yeah, well, we'll go on to that then. What I'm worried about is once again, I came onto the other night,
I know you did. Get to the point now.
The plight... Stop shouting at me.
Get to the point now.
The plight of Asiatic girls, and, yes, I want to point this out before you take things out of context by cutting me off. Indian lads can go out with all the white girls they want, but coloured Asiatic girls are told what to do.
Well, first of all, can we try to stick to the language that we were born with? They are not Asiatic. They are Asian.
All right, let's call them Asian then.
Yes, right.
I'm not...
Now, those girls have the freedom by law to marry, providing there are none of the constraints that apply to all of us.
So do
anyone they like.
So do white girls have the freedom by law?
I'm sorry?
So do white girls have the freedom?
Yes, I wasn't suggesting they didn't. You chose to spill...
But they are not oppressed by the parents.
Oppressed is an unfortunate choice of words.
It's not. That's what they're oppressed, and it should be stopped.
It is a matter of belief whether they are oppressed or not.
I love these people. I love all Asian people.
Tim, I don't believe anyone that says they love all of any group of people.
Well, I do.
Well, you cannot.
I do exactly.
You do.
And
so the guy that was arrested... Just a moment. The guy that was put in... I'll challenge you on it without any trouble at all. A young man, a fortnight ago, was put in prison for committing 2 rapes...
He's one individual. I don't care what colour he is. He's one individual.
So you love him?
I love all people. There's something wrong with his mind, and surely you must...
So what I do is irrelevant, Tim. So you're saying to me that you love everybody?
I love that man. Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Well, I'll see if I can fix it up with a date with him. How do Greg?
Right, Al.
Yes?
Our next door neighbour put a steel sheeting up, right, in our property. So, what can we do about it?
Take it down. How do Alec?
Hello, Mr. Beswick. I'd like to talk to you about the American government. I think since it all started in 1831 with the Plains Indians on the plains of America, they were given a large proportion of these plains to keep, and then during the years until the turn of the century, this area was decreased, and they kept lying to the Indians and telling them that they could have less and less areas, and the Indians kept fighting and kept losing. What do you think about it?
Thank heavens I'm not an Indian. How do Paul? Paul's gone home. We'll talk to Valerie after the break. How do Alec? We've no Alec, it's Paul I'm going to, isn't it? Oh no, Valerie! Hello, Valerie!
Hello, Alan. I'd just like to ring up because 3 or 4 nights ago there was a man that rung up about dissecting rats for an A-level biology, and I think it's just unnecessary. Don't agree with it at all.
Why?
Because there's other ways of doing it. You can, there's computers and everything, and people do human biology, but they don't dissect a human for it.
No, they don't, but humans are quite important. Rats aren't, are they?
Yeah, well, I think they are.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you can have all the ones out of our back.
Oh, no, but they don't have to dissect them. It's not necessary, is it?
It's part and parcel of the educational process in biology to see what they look like on the innards.
Yeah, but they can do that with videos because, like...
Well, they can do it with videos, but it's not as satisfying in terms of educational.
In a way, they're better, aren't they? Because, like, if you have a video, you can, like, go back on all your mistakes and check them up, but, like, you only have one go at dissecting a rat and everything.
Indeed you do, but if you have your go at dissecting your rat, as it were, you then know the process of dissection as well as anybody else.
Yeah, but...
There's no better teaching than hands-on experience.
Well, I don't really agree with it. I mean, for a start-off, I don't think it's right because Education Board said, first of all, that they cut it out of exam thing. They said that they didn't need to dissect rats or anything, but it was Keith Joseph who put it back in, and I don't think he should have had right to tell the examination board what to do.
Well, he has got the right. He is the Minister of Education.
Yeah, but
if he's not got the right, then nobody has.
Yeah, but I mean, the examination board should know what's going in, and if they think it's they can get along through an A-level exam without dissecting a rat or anything else, I think they should be able to.
But at the end of the day, education is a political sphere, and the politicians control it, and have to control it, ultimately.
Well, I don't think it's right.
Well, do you think it is right that a group, a body, that spends thousands of millions of pounds a year on something should have no say in how it operates?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
You don't know? For example, your mum and dad, they live in their own house, or a rented house, I presume, and they spend thousands... They don't live in their own house or a rented house? Where do you live in, a tent?
No, they don't live in a rented house.
Well, I said they live in their own house or a rented house. They live in one or the other.
Yeah.
Now, they spend money on it every year, don't they?
Yeah.
Now, would you expect people to come and tell them to, well, I don't like the way you've done this, you'll have to paint this again? You wouldn't, would you? No, because it's their money.
That's different.
No, it isn't different.
Yeah.
It isn't. It isn't different.
Because you have to live in a house, you have to live somewhere, so you have to pay for it.
And you have to supply
You don't have to.
You do have to. Listen, child, you'll never learn anything. You don't shut your gob every now and then. The education authorities are paid for by the government, and therefore the government have the right to say what happens. Just like your mum and dad have the right to say what happens in your house, because they pay for it.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but...
Good.
I just don't think we'll agree, because
I don't think we'll agree either. It's difficult for me to agree with you, because I'm on your side.
Are you?
Aye, ta-ra.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
Ta-ra.
I'll see you, bye.
I don't eat rats either. How do, Ian?
Oh, hello, Alan. Good evening. I wondered if you would air your view on a little matter. In the local paper, every now and again, every 3 or 4 weeks, you tend to see a lot of council houses up for sale. You know, and you contact the council. I think it's wrong, in my opinion, that they should sell off council houses when people need to, you know, to have a urgent accommodation in most cases.
When you say in most cases, what do you mean?
Well, you know, a lot of people who couldn't afford to run their own house, say.
Which houses are these that are up for sale, first of all?
Well, can I tell you the area I live in?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I live in Warrington.
You live in Warrington?
Just outside Warrington. I've recently seen in last week's paper, there was some in Harford, a couple of terraced houses, mid-terraced houses for sale. They need doing up a little bit, you know.
That's it. That is always the crunch. The houses, when they're saying... I mean, council houses are sold to sitting tenants, first of all, and that is a principal decision by central government, and there is a legal obligation on local authorities to sell houses to sitting tenants. But they're not the ones you're talking about. You're talking about the derelict property or the imperfect property.
That's right, yeah.
That the council would have to spend money to renovate.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, the council haven't got that money to renovate. Indeed, they are not allowed by law to spend it, even if they've got it. So what do you expect them to do?
I didn't really understand that myself, you know.
Well, you've heard of the rate support grant?
Yeah.
Well, the rate support grant is reduced directly should a local authority overspend the amount that the central government believes it should spend. So if it starts spending money renovating council property, council housing, then it will overspend and will then have a consequential reduction in its rate support grant. So it cannot do it. So it must get revenue from somewhere, and it gets the revenue from selling derelict properties. Sells them at a song so that someone who normally couldn't afford to buy their own home gets the opportunity to do so, providing they're prepared to do some work.
I see. Okay, well, thanks, Alan, for your answer.
It's all right.
Good night.
Ta-ra. How do, Rob?
Oh, hello, Alan.
24 hours a day, Red Rose Radio.
I'm Norman Howes from the Little Window Company.
It's very nearly midnight, so if you wish to join us on the old phone-in, you'll have to wait till tomorrow.
The Midnight News, this is Dickie Arbiter. Right, you lot out there on Red Rose Radio, my mate Jim...
Ring him if you dare. Allan Beswick, the late night show.
And of course the number is Preston 561,000. Welcome to Saturday. Your weekend is with us at 4 minutes past midnight. How do, Darren?
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about the fact that if you bought a garage, if you made a garage on your drive, you'd actually get charged water rates because the fact they know you've got a car that you think they'll be washing it like.
That's a fairly sensible assumption.
Yeah, I know, but why?
Well, why worry about it if you think it's sensible?
You get charged more water rates.
Because why not? You are going to wash your car if you've got a garage, aren't you?
Yeah, but you're not...
Well, there you are, then you're going to use more water, aren't you?
You are?
You're going to use more water, then.
The egg.
You're not?
No.
So if you don't wash your car, you use the same amount of water as if you do?
You're not going to use it from a new tap, are you?
You're not going to use it from a new tap, but it's the amount of water they want you to pay for, not the number of taps. You can have 300 taps, you never turn them on, you won't use any water.
Yeah, but you'll still be washing your car if you don't have that same tap, won't you?
Ah, yes you will, but you might be like me and wash it in one of them horrible brush things.
Yeah, but you're a pauper, aren't you?
A pauper?
Yeah.
Why am I a pauper? Because I pay to have my car washed. You seem stuck for words.
My mum and dad had just gone up drive, so I'll have to go.
You better had go, yes. You're in big trouble now. How do, Darren? Oh, that was Darren. Hello, Philip.
I wonder if you could clear something up for me. A little while ago you said you're not an atheist, you're an agnostic, right? And I looked up those words, and it said for atheist, it's a person who believes that there is no God. And it said for agnostic, a person who believes that you cannot prove that there is no God, that there is a God, you see. But you say that you don't believe in him, so surely that must make you an atheist.
No, it doesn't. I do not believe in the, should we say, supernatural, all-powerful, omnipotent creature called God. However, there is another definition of God that I'm prepared to accept, and that is that if you define God as the motivation that some people have for their existence, in other words, the reason for their existence, then they have a God.
Yeah.
And it would be ludicrous to deny the existence of something that somebody's got.
Yes.
So I do not believe in the omnipotent creature. I do not believe that Christ was God turned into man. I believe he was just another prophet. Another misguided fool, if you like. I do not believe in the miraculous tales in the Bible.
Yeah.
But I do accept that individuals can have within them a motivation for their life which cannot be explained and is, in their eyes, supernatural, not in mine. Now that creature within them, that sense of being within them, is their God. So they have a God.
I see.
All right?
Right. Oh, do you know how people are always saying you're fat? Well, how fat are you? How much do you weigh?
You'll have to You'll have to come and see me at one of my shows to find that out.
Oh, I'm not that brave.
Well, such is life.
Oh well.
How do, Simon?
How do, Alan? I'd like to talk about transvestites, if I may.
Well, nobody's stopping you.
Well, me and my mates, we went to this pub the other night, and the DJ was a transvestite, and he was really slagging other people off, like. And he was really going on, and he was saying things like, oh, I'm a cock in a frock, and all this. And he was saying, oh, look, gone down to the town, and all this.
Well, we've heard the jargon, Simon. We don't want to hear it anymore. Go away. How do, Madge?
Hello, Alan. I'm having a bit of problem with my neighbours.
Well, flit.
Why? Well, listen. They've got sheep. Just let me open the window. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
I'm holding on.
Good lad. Hold on.
I don't know about your sheep, love, but you got bloody good double glazing. How do, Mike?
Hello, Alan. I was in Will today, and I was supervising a group of young 3 to 5 year old children. And we were down on the beach, and we'd all put our bags in the corner next to, like, a chalet type thing on the beach. And then this great, massive, grey wolfhound, I think they're called, Irish wolfhound, came along and tiddled over all the bags. We approached the owner who was walking down the beach with this dog, and we said, please could you keep your dog under control? And, because, you know, all these bags were obviously very uneasy to handle. And the owner said, oh, it's not my fault, and walked off, and we didn't see any more. I think this is absolutely disgusting, Alan, and I think something should be done about this. And in public places where people are likely to take their dogs for a walk, I think they should have segregated areas where they can throw the dogs in there.
Why not just ban people from taking those disgusting, stupid creatures out in the streets?
Well, that would be unfair, because there's...
Yeah, it would be unfair, but it's a damn sight better than getting peed on. How do, Penny? No, it's not Penny. Yes, it is. Are you Penny? Seems it's disappeared.
Bye.
Bye. We were rather enjoying that for a moment. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Alan. Today, my friends and I were having a leisurely walk down the road, and behind us pulled up this red, I think it was a red Mini, and then out of it came this man, and he had a book with him, and he came up to me and said, Jeff Dixon, this is your life.
Ah.
And anyway, you see, I'm a super...
Goodbye. We don't use surnames on this programme. How do, Stephen?
No. Hello, Alan. I would like to talk about self-defence, if I may. May I?
Yeah.
Right, I think more women and children should learn self-defence because there's more abuse on women and children in these days. And what's your opinion on that?
The problem with teaching women and children self-defence is when you're doing that, you are also teaching crooks. Because some of the people that learn it are crooks.
Yeah, that may be so.
There's no doubt about it.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Fair enough. But on my application forms, I say, have you ever been in trouble with the police? And I only accept them in if I think they're going to be good students. And I know...
So basically, Stephen, what you're saying is you want to make a few bob out of them?
No, I mean...
Oh, you do it for now, do you?
I do, yeah, actually.
You do it for now?
Yeah.
A whole lot of people like you about. How do, Dave?
Alright, Alan. I was walking down the road today, and I saw this frog lying on the pavement.
Croak. How do, Yusuf?
Hello, Alan. How are you keeping?
Very well, thank you.
You see, I'd like to know about... I would like to talk to you about something I bought, you see, from the town the other day. It was a tape recorder, you know. So I had a look at the demonstration model, and from there I said I'd buy it. You know, it was a bargain at $12.95, you see. So I bought it, you see, and they gave me one in a box, you see, wrapped up. And when I took it home, I found out that there were some defects inside, you know. So I took it back that very same day, and they showed me the demonstration model again, you know. And the guy up there, you see, he said, you take this one. I said, no, because it was a demonstration model, you know, and there was some scratches and all that, you see. So I said, I'll have another one from the box, you know. So I asked him, can I open the box and have a look at this one? Maybe defect again, you see. He says, no, I'm not going to open this box, you know. You can take it home or you can take this one. So I chose the box, you see. Now, when I bought this home, you see, there was a defect in this, you know. So I wonder if you could put light into me, you know, what I can do about that.
Yep, you can tell him that you want a full cash refund, and if he doesn't give you a full cash refund, you can sue him in the courts.
You see, he's got a guarantee as well, 12 months.
Doesn't matter, never mind about the guarantee, sue him.
Okay.
All right?
Right, thank you.
Ta-ra. How do, Barbara?
Morning, Alan.
Isn't it just? How do, Jane?
Hello, Alan. Can you tell me when you're going on holiday, please?
Yeah, I suppose I could do. Sometime in August and possibly sometime in June. And I'm having a night off on the 24th of April.
Oh, I see. No, the reason I ask is because we've just started listening to you about 2 weeks ago, and I'm tired out now.
Well, it'll be a while yet. I'm having a night off on the 24th of April, so there you are. Because I'm doing a show. I'm doing an Argue with Alan at the North Pier in Blackpool on that night. All right?
Okay.
So you have a lie down.
Bye.
Ta-ra. How do to Jane? How do to Sean?
Bear. I like bear. 27 pints and I don't really care.
Glad to hear it. How do Andrew? No, Andrew. How do Raymond?
Well, Alan, quite frankly, Alan, blimey, Alan. Do you know what I mean, Alan?
I certainly do, Raymond. How do Tim?
Hello.
Hello.
Are we on, Alan?
Well, I am. I can't speak for you.
Well, I'm going to just turn this radio off. Hang on, I didn't think get 2 years so quick. You just hang on.
Well, you have done, so get your finger out and
Hang
get
on, hang on.
sorted. I'm hanging on.
Hang on till I pull the plug. Listen, I was speaking to you early on one night.
Yes.
And I've had 4 phone calls since I spoke to you.
So?
Yeah, from Asiatic people, but I want you to
We
know.
weren't using that term. We're calling them Asians, remember? Goodbye. How do Mike?
How do, Alan? I think, really, it's a ridiculous situation when, in its death throes, Greater Manchester Council lashes out £22 million on GMEX, £8 million of which was waste due to transfer of contractors from Balfour BT to Brookhouse.
We don't name companies on this programme. Goodbye. How do Peter?
Alan, I think it's wrong the way the government make green curtains.
I'm sure you do. How do to Barbara?
Morning, Alan. Alan,
Yes.
when you're talking to your callers on your phone, you call them
Do
pillars.
you want to just slow down a bit, because no one can understand a word you're saying?
When your callers come on the phone,
We still can't understand you. Slow down and just say things once, and we might just understand you.
when you callers are talking to you on the phone, and you call them pillocks, right? Can you tell me what that means?
It's actually a vernacular type word. It is a misuse of the word. The genuine meaning of the word, if you want the full semantic, is it's a small fish.
Oh, because I use that word.
Well, it means a small fish.
It means small fish.
Mm.
Oh.
All right?
Okay, Alan.
In fact, I think it means a pregnant fish.
Oh.
Either way, it's a bit fishy. Ta-ra.
Okay, bye.
I'll do. Chris.
Hello, Alan.
Medication doesn't always work, you see. Hello, Duncan.
Hello, Alan. Just a minute. Oh.
No, we're not waiting a minute, Duncan. You should have done all that before you got here. Janie, you're after the break.
Commencing the...
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about fuel bills.
Go on.
Don't the electric and gas board think how they're frightening old people? We got a gas bill for £103, which we knew we were wrong. So we sent it back, wrote the figures on that was on the meter, and it came back, it was £47. Now the old people get one for £100 they go into panic, and they believe that's the correct price.
Indeed, Jenny, I do accept that people on low incomes would panic, not just old people, would panic if they received such a bill, but no organisation can be expected to be infallible. I mean, they made a mistake and they put it right.
But old people don't know this, they just go and pay the bill. They don't know that they're estimated bills, which they are doing now, which is wrong.
Well, they only estimate them because they can't get access to read your meter.
Oh no, that's wrong, because I've been in all the time. I'm in every day, and my bill was estimated.
I can't think why,
An elderly person at 70 or 80 year old, I would have panicked.
Well, have you asked... Well, we've dealt with the bit about people panicking. I'm more interested in this suggestion that the gas and electricity boards are ad hoc estimating bills without ever coming and attempting to read your meter. Were your neighbours' meters read?
No.
No. So the whole street has estimated bills?
There was a letter in the bill to say that they're only reading them every 6 months.
I see.
They're only reading them twice a year now.
And they will correct the imbalance at those times?
Yes.
And did it also say on that letter that you could have your meter read if you so desired, or you could read your own?
No.
It didn't?
No.
I see. Well, I feel sure that if they are doing an estimated bill, then when an error is spotted, as in your case, people will be able to correct it. So when you say that these pensioners, that you define, wouldn't know that their bill was estimated, you seem to be implying that pensioners can't read.
No, I'm not.
Well, if they get the letter... Well, just a moment. You say they wouldn't know the bill was estimated, and yet you tell me there's a letter with it.
How many old people don't understand the new money, even now?
Well, they can still read, Janie.
Yes, but they don't.
If they get a letter with their bill that says this bill has been estimated, I feel sure they know what that means.
It's a very small e, and they don't see it.
No, you said it.
Understand
you said it had a letter with it.
They don't understand them.
I'm sorry, Janie. You said it had a letter in with it.
Yes, it did.
Saying it will be estimated every 6 months.
Yes.
Right. So the pensioners will have got that letter as well, will they not?
Yes.
So they will know that their bill has been estimated the same, won't they, Janie?
What I'm saying...
Janie, won't they? Will they know? They won't understand the letter. They read a letter and they won't understand it. Do you think pensioners become stupid or something?
No.
Do you think when you get to 50 your brain drops on the floor?
No, it doesn't.
Right, well pensioners are probably as clever, if not a damn sight cleverer, than some of us. They're just ordinary people that have got old, you know. They don't suddenly get bloody addled.
Maybe they don't read
Glad you agree. What do you mean, maybe they don't read it? If they don't read it, what do you expect the gospel to do, for heaven's sake? What do you want it to do? A fly past with a trailer behind it saying, "Your bill's been estimated!" They've put a pigging letter in. What more do you want?
Well, you might be old sometime.
Oh, I will be old, and I'll still be able to read, for crying out loud. I won't get stupid just 'cause I'm old. It seems, Janie, you will. But let's face it, you're starting there. How do? Anthony.
Hello. I'd like to talk about verbal abuse on your programme.
Well, what's the point? That's what the programme's about. How do, Thomas?
Hey, I'm ringing up about... I heard this conversation a couple months ago, and you get married and you can't adopt your own child for 12 months, which is right, because I've been into social.
You don't have to adopt your own child. It is your child.
Yeah, but you've got to adopt it.
Why have you got to adopt your own child?
We were also married.
Why have you got to adopt your own child?
Well, don't ask me.
You never have to.